that BB, looking for the curse, but there's the ghost form, and now the force stuff away from the rollers in your dream. He's gonna show up with the XCN on Ohio, but they'll come in all the way. Ravage up in 5 seconds. Red, he needs to buy a bit more.
I think it's really even. I like the win condition of GXR a little bit more. I think the Luna is a much more stable way of sieging high ground compared to the Slark. The Slark's going to have to rely on really the Tide and the Ember to kind of help shove those waves out, help secure the siege onto the high ground, whereas for the Luna, it's much more straightforward. 496, their timings are a lot better than Game 1, again, but they've got to be able to play around even early Ravages on one, just look for those around a Ravage to just group up, take a tower, find even just one kill with a Ravage and go from there.
So we'll see how it works out for them. Game 1 is now Game 2 is now officially underway. Just had a quick pause there for a reconnection. Nothing too serious, it seems. I've got to point out as well, John, like we know 496 has always been like this with their drafts, but they do tend to draft very out of meta heroes. Like this Pos 1 Slark, you don't see it by any of the big teams in any region, really. Whereas you look at GXR, they go for the standard Luna pickup. And it's hard to go against that, because we've seen this hero and it's just tried and tested. Right, like 496 with their Slark, it can be very good, but it is hard to keep up in terms of farm if you fall behind, and they almost find an attempt there onto Jocam, but they weren't in range for the gush there for Red.
30
and now
seconds
GXR, they might be able to force a team fight themselves. Red, he's going to show himself. It's not quite the target they want to get started on. They'd love a much squishier target. They are going to find one. Good step to go onto the Tide. However, here comes the Swarm. A 5v5 in the Radiant Triangle. But Paulson's the one falling, or is it Red? It looks like it is going to be Red and in your dream. He's the one to get the first blood. He may die in the process, or maybe not, as Ohio is going to give him a double kill now on the Luna. An absolute disaster for the side of 496. As they keep going, Forecast, no. It'll be a triple kill in your dream.
Be careful.
Enough. Get out of there. You've already given him one. Just get out. They tried to trade, but they gave 3 kills to In Your
Moon's
Dream.
blessings.
Oh no. Not like this.
That's not the trade they're looking for on the side of 496. They will probably get 3 bounties. The last bounty's untouched, so they're going to be able to snag that away. And it's a great start for GXR. 3 kills at minute 0. That reminds me of OBE on games where they find 4 kills for the Keeper of the Light. You know, it's just intent. And 496 overcommit. In Your Dream goes back to lane. He's got his Wraith Band up, a little bit more stats to play with. And Paulson on that Pos 5 Brewmaster, this is actually great. He can just run down Red, force to harass Red out, get the Thunderclap off for some good damage. Once the Brew's up, it's going to be really annoying as well. And there's not much Red can do. He can gush up the Brewmaster. The Brew is fairly tanky and doesn't really care to get hit. It just buys so much more space for IYD.
I'm still in shock that In Your Dream's got a triple kill before the minute mark. Like, he starts with a Magic Wand and a Wraith Band already. Like, how hard is it going to be for Red to contest this? Probably really hard, considering he did not get any of that coal. Not to mention Your Dream's going to hit level 2 faster. With the ES Tide, it's very, very tough to contest this lane. Let's have a look at the other lane. So, of course, mid lane, you've got Blackberry there with Hung. I think this is going to be a complicated lane. Well, we used to see this one quite a lot, and it doesn't feel like the laning matchup has really changed so much. Tidebringer is still one of those kings. It's just too hard to really beat when you're in a 1v1.
It doesn't feel great. Tidebringer Flame Guard doesn't block that damage as well from Hung, so that he's wins out every single time he gets to hit his top. Torrents have that pretty hard as well. That's the problem. Once he hits 6, this can sort of be alleviated. Just kind of zip away the spirit, but again, you have to time around the eventual extra lag. So very starts to lag. Hung does that very compensate for that thing, but can have to be careful how hard he pushes his under here. Lift up, Ace, trying to go for the power, but that's already a latch. That BB is going to continue
continue to chase, but Mizu needs to heal up and body blocks off. Very nice indeed there, Mizu. But this play is proving to be rather challenging side of GXR, which is definitely great news for 496. He's able to freely bomb up on this lock, and it doesn't feel like that's going to be getting slowed down anytime soon.
I think that's a good sign for 496. I just don't think the trade-off is worth it. You're getting great farm on Slug, but the Luna's still having great farm as well. And I think in that sense, the Luna's going to be a better hero. You just farm a lot faster, you have good spikes with early clips if you look to play aggressive. A Slark looks for a defusal, maybe a saber down the line to be active, and that stats up. You can run, you can be aggressive, but if you are playing that way, you have to get kills.
Dominating spray rate. He's gonna at least get poles and INYOURDREAM. He's gonna find a 4.
On the time.
3.5 minutes in. He's got over a kill per minute at the moment, this Luna. I wish my pump would do this, John. They sit there for 40 minutes farming the jungle. INYOURDREAM, he's getting active.
Oh yeah, and that's actually really good. They drop the support first, so INYOURDREAM gets the full solo EXP. I don't mind that trade-off. You're not getting much by killing off the support brewmaster at this point in the game yet. So the benefit for INYOURDREAM is a lot bigger in getting solo EXP. He's level 4 now, at 4.25, so he's got basically a full level over red. If he hits 5 early, it's going to be even more painful in lane, with, I'm assuming, level 3 Lucent just going aggressive. And there's not much red can do, there's not much Ohio can do as well.
Certainly not. Still, on the brighter side, top lane is still going okay. Like, Ace is still having a very nice time. He's matching the CS of the Luna. That BB's able to keep him safe, so things are very well. That being said, they're not able to really shut down Mizu as much anymore. In fact, that BB, he's gonna be careful. Lifts up Jocam, helps Mizu secure a kill. Now they'll turn onto Podcast Ace. But he's gonna be alright. He'll pounce away. They're even gonna bring Ohio up to try and set up.
Yeah. It's the only lane that 496 is really winning out, and you drop a kill. So it still feels good for GXR. Forcing a tri-lane here as well doesn't feel great for Ohio. Like, you do have some aggressive potential with a roll and shield, but committing onto a Necrophos for giving your Slug space, I don't think you're trading well here. I think the Loon is just getting so much more for this. They're also going for a tri-lane bot now, Alacrity.
And that they are, Red. He's gonna try and run. Alacrity's got the X back into the torrent. See you later.
One more.
They'll even give Alacrity a nice little tip.
Tide Hunter.
I thought they'd give it to INYOURDREAM just to build up that kill streak, but apparently they don't want to go all in. Alacrity's the better hero to give that kill to. Still saving up for his phase into Armlet. And a timely rotation from him. You're not quite seeing Hong getting that activity on the map. He does have his 6 up. He can play with a Remnant. I don't really know if he has a great lane to go. Maybe top is probably your best bet again, but I just don't know how well worth it is to shut down a Necrophos like this. Like, this is so much space GXR gets. They're not even committing Jocam there anymore. He's just focusing on stacks.
He's gonna try and get some damage. Meanwhile, Red is gonna die again. Alacrity, he just doesn't stop rotating down bot. And this is one of the things with the Conquer pickup, right? Like, once you hit that 6 mark, you want to get active. It's not a hero that wants to farm up the whole game anymore. It wants to play very, very active and aggressive. Alacrity, he knows how to play these heroes in that way. Top lane, looks like they are going to go for a dive. Mizu's in danger. He does have the ghost form up, but he needs some help to come in. They'll get the pounce on Hung. He's going to join in. In fact, Ohio's even here. They'll commit 4 heroes to be able to kill Mizu. They will eventually get him. And Ace is the one to take the kill.
Is under attack.
Yeah, it's a good kill because it leads to them invading that triangle. Hung gets a couple of stacks from the large camp, can't really deal with the Ancients, so that does compensate, and they can go for that push on the tier 1. Bot is being shoved in though by GXR and Red. He's a level 4 Tide. INYOURDREAM 6, he can't do much to stop this push. He's gonna have to find a place to recover, and this is gonna put a big dent in 496's plans. We talked about it. They need to play around with early Ravages, look for kills with that spell early on, even on just 1 target. You can't do that when you don't have the spell up.
You can't, John. Mid lane, bit of a group up. It's like that baby is just gonna fill up the bottle of Hung. Nothing too special happening in this mid lane. It seems like they want to try and set up an Alacrity.
Step lively.
He's a rather tough target. Chains there, roll forward, torrent though from Alacrity, just preemptively, and now the X-Back into the boat, the Flame Guard, it's gonna block all the damage. They do at least get some off. It's very challenging to kill a Kunkka like that when he has BTS. Unless you silence him, he's probably not gonna die.
Yeah, that's really just down to Alacrity getting a very good torrent to break off that initiation. Just pumping here though, GXR.
Oh, listen, he's gone very far forward. They could go for the check. Oh no, he's done a regen. Alright, he gets a regen rune. They'll cancel it in the end, but you know, even Gaben's smiling upon GXR today, apparently. Because everything going their way is missing. Maybe this isn't going their way, but he does have the ghost form. He'll be fine. Ace really can't do much against the Necro right now, not by himself.
No, he's still getting some really good farm though, but it is starting to lag behind. It goes back to that point where if you have even lanes between a Luna and a Slark, the Luna's still going to win later on. It just has better farming spikes. It has better power spikes right now. Ace still needs to go for that Echo Saber, still a ways off. That's not going to help him farm as well. He has to be active once that item's up.
Radiant's bottom
and his
tower
team has to
is
be ready
under
for
attack.
that. They are smoked up here. Hung and Ohio are on the hunt.
Who are they going to get
Dire's
though?
structures
That's my
are
problem. Like, it just feels like in every sense they're just behind. Like Hung's level 8, which is amazing and all, but
Gold
you're
from
still
my
going to run into a
chest.
Kunkka with Bode up. He's just farming ancient stacks right now. Because they want usage, so they're going to try, but he has that ghost form again. The roll is there. Silence as well, but here comes the TP. Trying to help out Mizzet. Remnant's used up. How much is this going to cost them? Hung, he used all his mobility. Oh no. He's going to die for it. It's not worth. Pos 2 Ember dying for a Pos 3
Radiant's bottom tower
Necro.
is under attack.
That was a level 8 Ember as well for the sake of a level 7 Necrophos. It's just not worth it.
Radiant's
No,
middle tower
Really not.
is
And now
under
that
attack.
TNB took a bit of a push up top. That BB TP's in. They've got Hero's Clump around for the defense.
Forecast, he might be able to get started. INYOURDREAM showing up. This could be a massive
Dire's
target.
top tower is under attack.
496, they're not feeling confident to go in. Perhaps assuming that his whole team's behind him, and well, they're not entirely wrong. Half his team is there.
Dire's middle tower is
Hung
under
now going to
attack.
TP up, chains out, does catch on two, Ace is around, there's your Eclipse flying out, so Ohio is going to get caught, but they found a trade with Joe Cap, and now Ace might be able to go for another, but the Reaper side comes in. It's not going to be enough though. Big Rabbit jump, but never mind, it only connected on one. And they're looking to turn now as Alacrity. He has a double damage rune active, and they might just be able to take down the Pos 3 on 496, and it looks like it's going to be no issue. They do get a nice miscoil though, and that'll be enough. The Duke's out. GXR, it's going to be an unfavorable trade for them. 496 this time around will be happy.
That's a big win for 496. He
Dire's
just
top
managed to
tower
hold
is
off.
under
He might
attack.
still lose that BB though.
They borrow timeout, but it's not really going to help too much, I don't think. Alacrity's just patiently waiting. They have another X up in 5. You already see INYOURDREAM's damage just with the right clicks are quite high. Is that BB? Yeah, he's certainly just
Dire's
dead.
top
There
tower
you go,
is
Alacrity
under
picks it
attack.
up for himself. They'll go straight off that top tier 1 tower.
Yep, gonna be an easy push to get done. 496 not in
Dire's
position to
top
trade on the
tower has
bot
fallen.
lane, as well. They can't really push out all too well. In fact, their entire lineup lacks push. Grouping up mid now as well on GXR. Only Ohio to defend. They can easily just swing down here. Mizu's
Dire's
just keeping
middle
that creep wave
tower is
alive.
under
And
attack.
there has to be a response for this, but they have no Ravage. They do have mobility on the Ember, but Hung has to refill first.
BB. He's going to be there to try and help out. He does not have the borrowed time, and instead they're going to go after Red anyway. They want the
Dire's
Tide
top tower
Hunter.
is under
He's a
attack.
tanky boy though, so instead they'll Red anyway. They want the
Dire's top
Tide
tower
Hunter.
is under
He's a
attack.
tanky boy though, so instead they'll turn back on that BB. They realize he has no ulti, and now they
Radiant's
have the
bottom
Cyclone
tower
up
is under
onto
attack.
Red as the boat flies in perfect timing. And
Dire's
it looks like
middle
they
tower
found
is
another.
under attack.
And there was no rabbit. Oh no, Hung, no. He gets remnanted out, but it may not matter. He gets lifted as well, but he does get the remnant.
Dire's structures are
So
fortified.
GXR, it's a 2-0
Radiant's bottom
trade.
tower is
Mid
under
tier 1
attack.
tower's gonna drop.
Dire's middle tower is
There's
under
nothing
attack.
496 can do about it.
No, they don't have Ravage anyway. It's still down for half a minute, and that's a big falling point for 496. They're strong when Ravage is up. They can kind of play around that. They can get good initiations, look for kills, but when it's down, they have to take it real slow. Like, when Ravage is gone, the pressure is on Hung to line up for kills and on Ohio to get the proper rolls off. They do manage to stall out long enough that Portgas does have the Echo Saber, but that still doesn't do much for his farm. This just enables him to fight a little bit better, so he has to fight. The issue is, who do you catch out? Like, if you jump the Necrophos, you're going to need multiple heroes to kill him through his Ghost Shroud. If you get the Kunkka, same story. If you find the Luna somehow, that probably is your best target, the Luna or the Rubik. Issue is, INYOURDREAM's just very well placed on a map. He's so far away from the rest of the enemy team. There are no aggressive wards to spot that out. 496, they are smoked up, trying to hunt, but again, with no vision.
Radiant's
this is a
bottom tower
walk in
is
the
under
dark here
attack.
for the side of 496.
Radiant
GXR
structures
gonna make
are
their way
fortified.
up north. Red. He's got the Ravage, but you don't really want to pop it defensively right now if you're 496. You kind of need everything you can get. Ohio's going to TP up as well in preparation for the defense, but it looks like GXR, they're not going to bother with it. We're only 13 and a half minutes in, and they've got most of the map to farm themselves. I'm sure they're more than happy to just let their Luna keep hitting creeps. It's mid lane. Alacrity just going to go ahead and X himself. It's being very safe. This top lane, Ohio, nice kickback. They found Mizu. They got the silence, but no, he has a 4-staff.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That's a 4-hero rotation that amounts to nothing. And look at the side of GXR. They're going to find Hung.
Is under attack.
Well, they even bait out the Slide of Fist, but they missed the torrent. Nice pump fake on the torrent to bait out the Slide, but in the end, it won't matter.
It's always a bit tight in trying to lock in the Ember, just with Torrent X. Lots of ways to dodge. AR Chase Paulson's pretty low here. Nah. He's got the split anyway in case things get dicey. 496, they're still losing that farm war here. 6k behind GXR. IYD just making great use of the space. Almost the same story from game 1. 8.7k at 14.5 minutes in. Portgas is 2.6k behind. Not the best of news for the Slark, and that gap is just going to keep increasing. Portgas trying to rush the Diffusal. Again, all fighting items on the Slark. You don't really go for farming builds, and that just means as the farm goes on, the Luna's always going to win that war.
That is true. Speaking of Luna, Portgas, he's going to see INYOURDREAM. It's a lot of damage being pumped out. Be that much worse when INYOURDREAM does get the Manta style up. That BB gonna get some wards down. Alacrity may have spotted him, and now he definitely does. Look at the Tidebringer hit. Takes over half his HP. It's mid lane. Mizu. He's gonna be chased for a little bit by Hung, but Hung's not really gonna commit all the way. Not underneath the tier 1 mid tower. You can't really go that far right now as Ace. He has been caught, but he is going to fly in with the X out. He'll go for the Shadow Dance. Looks like he should be fine. Instead, they'll go into that BB, and man, the damage output. They're not even worried about the borrow time. They'll heal him back up for his own sake, and then bring him right back down to earth. That's a 7th kill of this Luna. At the 16-minute mark, John.
Are fortified.
Yep, he's been around for 11 of those 13 kills as well, counting the assists. INYOURDREAM was just being efficient there, Mike. He wanted to hit the green wave. He just went through that borrowed time. He managed to have enough time for Hung to come in. It's just the Ember. No one else is going to come in for the defense just yet. This is a bit risky for Hung.
Yeah, they're literally ignoring him. Like, the Flame Guard's around. Now they're going to back off. These are all rotations that are amounting to nothing from 496. Like, we've seen this before. The last time around, it was a 4-hero rotation, but they got nothing out of it. It's the exact same thing this time, except it's the 3-hero rotation. GXR, they're not leaving the jungle either. They're more than happy to stick around and kind of just taunt the side of 496. What do you do if you're 496 and you're just falling so far behind?
I feel like they haven't moved around their side in a while. Just keep trying to pressure out rounds. Every time you commit onto the Necrophos, it's just base. He doesn't mind. He knows how to play that Necrophos. You trap the enemy here, get better farm on your pause 1, on your pause 2. Necrophos doesn't need too much, especially since you've got the hood and the 4-staff up to get the job done. They need to play around these spikes on 496. Like the Ravage is just unused for a long time again. If you fell on one, then just go back farming. At the least, that's what you look to do.
I kind of agree with you on that, Tom. It just seems so tough, right? Like the Ravage, I don't have the damage. That's not why I don't see them having the damage to do anything with it. I mean, maybe find one target. Maybe one is more than zero. At this point, you just take and try to build on that. If you use all the time in the forecast, that'd be a nice fight for Slark. As long as, again, with that, the fusel and Equator up, the Slark has to be out. You're not farming. You are farming, you're not farming bitch. You have to be able to take fights once you have that full fusel up, and you have to win fights. Build these stacks in the Slark.
Loyal warrior.
Hey! Be careful, he does. I can't say the same for that baby. Time's gonna be there. He's holding everyone else back. That baby is still just trying to find, but he's not getting out. That's a nice magnetite. A massive hero's stunned. But Ohio's down now. Who's got the first time? They can't even get the Rubik. Trade thus far. Back on that baby. They're going to go on Mitsu. He does have the Reaper sight up, but Maze is committed. He doesn't need to. It's going to be a dieback on that baby. Joe Cam, he's going to split out for a second, but won't even bother.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It just feels like there's no need to rush here through GXR. You can just play the slow game, just take over the map. And if they come into you, again, Reaper Scythe is up for Mizu.
Yeah, and there's no Ravage now. That was a good Ravage from Red, but the damage issue you mentioned comes into play there. And most of your damage is on Hung, and you have to be really cautious with where you keep these in.
Red. Not like that, sir. Lift up Reapers is going to be there, and they're going to have the damage. There's a tip in your dream, he knows
Dire's
it.
middle tower
He's wondering what the hell he was doing.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Yeah, middle of the lane, all the gold. Oh, 496, and they lose their tier 2. They're still trying to play tag. Portgas has that defusal. He just can't find the angle. Like, there's just so much control, so much damage output from GXR that the Slark is just not in position to really use these items to his advantage yet. And that's, again, the shortcoming of this Pos 1 matchup. INYOURDREAM doesn't want to fight, and he farms
Radiant's
really well.
top tower is under attack.
Portgas wants to fight. He can't fight all too well right now, and he can't farm all too well either. So you're just falling behind on every metric for the Slark. Maybe if they isolate one, again, just keep killing Paulson or Jotam or something.
Maybe they can get Paulson now. He hasn't got split up for another 7 seconds. But TP, no roll is there. Ohio, he cancels it off, and they've got the pounds. 1 more second if he wanted to split, but he won't have the time. Meanwhile, mid lane, Mizu still very confidently pushing in this mid wave. So Alacrity now is going to get an X off. They won't be able to land the torrent though. A nice dodge from Hung, and they might be able to go right back around to that Necrophos now. That BB looking for the curse, but there's the ghost form, and now the force stuff away from the rollers. INYOURDREAM is going to show up with the XN on Ohio, but they'll commit all the way. Ravage up in 5 seconds. Red, he needs to buy a bit more time to get that Ravage off. INYOURDREAM, he's popped his own BKB. He needs to back though, or maybe he won't. He'll just keep going. Mizu moving forward, but doesn't have the Reaper sight, and now they'll have the Ravage. If they want to commit, they just may as Ohio. A big magnetite. Now the 3-man Ravage. They can turn this one. Joe Cam and Mizu already down on INYOURDREAM. He's got no BKB up. They should be able to take him down. They do. But can they get out of here now? Alacrity looking to clean up, does kill off Hung. Mizu, he bought back, and he does almost have the Reaper sight up.
Is under attack.
But he's not quite close enough as now Alacrity. He's been jumped. They don't want to beat a dieback like this. Reaper sight is out, but Portgas D8. He can just keep into work. A big torrent isn't going to be enough. Mizu's just going to clean up Ohio. He's had his roll blocked. They'll just keep up the chase, and he might just get this kill as the death pulse. It'll just keep chasing him down, and he gets a triple. Mizu gets him eventually. I'd say 496, they might still be happy with that team fight, John. They got a lot of kills. They got a dieback on No, they didn't get a dieback.
No.
It was Mizu who bought back. But they got a 3k exchange. A lot of XP. I'd say you have to be happy if you're 496.
You definitely are, but it's not as clean as you'd want. GXR still gets something out of it. They might have been a bit hasty with a BKB use on In Your Dream, a bit disjointed in how they initially started that fight, not respecting the Ravage of Red. And there is still power in 496 if they can get those initiations. But now, Ravage is down for a minute. That's a minute where GXR can look to play aggressive without worrying about that 15 fight spell. I think that's what they should do. Just look to clump up. Roshan's up if they want to go for it. It's been ignored for the entirety of this game, so that's still Rosh number 1. And maybe you could just go for that Aegis. Go for the Aegis, look for the high ground next. It gives you a security net for In Your Dream in case he does get caught out with a Ravage with no BKB. I think In Your Dream at this point, he is going for the Butterfly for more damage and some durability with the evasion. That's going to cause issues for Slark, but I think you want some lifesteal here. He does have a nice little Possessed Mask. Not quite enough. I think a Satanic's going to have to come out afterwards for that. Actually, no, I was mousing over to Slark. He doesn't have lifesteal at all, so a Satanic or even just a Morbid Mask after the Butterfly should really help him sustain in those fights.
Now that they've got the ends up as well on Hung, 496, they have a pretty nice power spike here on their Ember. You might feel like this is around the time where they want to start moving. That last team fight, it looked a lot more even than we were expecting. They've got the Ravage back up. In fact, they've got everything back up. It might be time to just kind of run at the side of GXR and see if you can get something done.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Speaking
attack.
of GXR, I mean, they're moving into that dire jungle again. They'll take the
Radiant
outpost.
structures are fortified.
I think the longer you wait for this next fight, the harder it's going to be here
Radiant's
for
middle tower
496.
is under attack.
There's even Mizu, he just picked up that full Aeon disc now. Just on the courier. He's leaving it in the tree line as well. He doesn't want to take
Radiant's
it
middle
yet.
tower has fallen.
No, never mind, he does.
What have we here?
Mid lane, In Your Dream, he's going to respond. Clear out the wave as the rest
Radiant's
TP down with him.
courier
Joe
has been
Cam,
killed.
he's going to look for a target. And he gets the Aphotic Shield. This is just kind of just as good.
Good saving spells, just having the Dispel on hand. That's also saved 496 a couple of times there. They do manage to get a nice full pipe and a BKB on the Slug. So now, Portgas will have no issue standing in front of these fights, getting his damage off, having the safety net of the Shadow Dance and the BKB.
Scanning.
It's going to be a massive boon. They will start to Roshan here on GXR though. In Your Dream just goes in solo. There is a ward by the cliff. Watch that area, but you're not quite walking in there yet. So 496 has to have a game sense to check, and that BB's here.
And he is. He's going to spot it out. They have not noticed that the Abaddon was there for a second as there's no sentry on the ground. And now here comes the help. Ace, he's right in with the pounce. BKB popped Ace. He needs the Shadow Dance. He'll get it off just in the nick of time. But that's his defensive ability gone. Now they're all jumping in. Ravage is there from Red. He's trying to save the day, but they'll just turn right back around on that Tidehunter and go after him. The big green watermelon is not going to be together for so long that they just burst it. And now the stolen Ravage Joe Cam. He's unable to catch anyone. I believe he wanted Hung, but he does manage to just kind of to use the ribbon to get out. GXR. I mean, it kind of looked like it was going to work, John, but then Ace just pounces into the pit.
Yeah. They needed to wait. Red had to be up there. He was walking in with a Ravage. He had it ready. They just needed some patience there. Maybe you throw off your Abaddon first, have him die, then come in with a Ravage, clean up after. They could still win. 496 just a bit too hasty there. Does cost them in the end. GXR, they've got that safety net now on the Luna. They know the BKB is available on Portgas. They can play around that limitation. And they can maybe start thinking about the high ground with that Aegis up.
They can. AK net worth lead just remains here for GXR.
Admiral is on
mid lane. They see Alacrity, but he's going to exit himself out again. Been very good in terms of just being able to continuously use that X defensively to push out this mid wave. So far, 496 is just kind of unable to catch him out. Meanwhile, looking at Red, John, he is going that item build that I like. He did opt for the full pipe, but going into that Aghanim Scepter now is going to feel quite nice, but certainly doesn't feel like it's going to answer the issues that 496 is having. It might help a little bit,
Dire's
but
top
definitely
tower
doesn't
is
feel like
under
it's going to be
attack.
enough.
It at least helps them keep these waves shoved out. They've done a good job of cutting the mid, keeping the bot shoved in. They are looking at the top though.
Dire's
This is where
top
GXR
tower
is going to go
is
for that
under
push. No
attack.
Ravage for half a minute. There's enough time for
Radiant's
496 to
bottom
respond
tower
and stall
is
this
under
one out.
attack.
I mean, they're pushing very fast though. Like even at the 27-minute mark, in your dream, he does too much damage. He's got the
Dire's
Aegis
top
up. He's
tower
almost got the
has fallen.
butterfly up. If he had the butterfly, I don't think they could kill him.
Dire's top barracks are under
That
attack.
BB gonna get torrented out. Rax is
Dire's
still
top
going down.
barracks
There's your
has
backdoor
fallen.
protection now. But they already got the range tracks. And they're not stopping. They're sticking around. The creep wave has been split pushed by Hung Hung though, so he's not going to allow it. There's no more creeps to be found here for GXR. But I'd say you've still got to be pretty happy with the fact that you got the tier 3 and the
Radiant's
range
courier
racks.
has been killed.
And now he's got the full butterfly up, so in your dream he wants to fight. That BB,
Radiant's courier
he's got the
has
glimmer
been
cape,
killed.
but it's only going to be for so long. He tries to run with the aphotic shield, borrow timeout, but they X him up. And he will come right back. The side of GXR is in your dream. We'll give the voice lines
Dire's
over.
middle tower is
And
under
guess what?
attack.
They've got creeps now. Buyback is dead. That BB, he's going to try and fight with his team, but it's already looking so tough. Red, he needs a massive ravage, and he gets in. Ace is there. They committed the ravage out from this Rubik, I believe. You've still got the Ravage from Red. He has not committed it quite yet, as in your dream. He's still going for the fight onto Ace. And this is a very patient game from Red, but now he's been cycloned up. He can't get the Ravage. Who's the beam there? He's going to have to try and run now, but it's just... They
Dire's
can't
middle
find the
tower
opening.
has fallen. Dire's structures are fortified.
This is going to be tough. At least they hold a Ravage for now, but the Aegis is still up and running for a minute and a half. BKB is still up as well for IYD. We have limited
Dire's middle tower
Quick
is under
lift up
attack.
as well. Red again unable to get the Ravage off his liftles there immediately, and now Ace he goes to work with the Shadow Dance, but that's about to wear off. It looks like this fight may have already kind of been lost here for 496. They're just struggling to get any form of damage. Big control there from Red though. That might turn it around as in your dream. Is dropping low and will lose the Aegis, but he does have his BKB charge. They'll try and go after Mizu. He gets the Ghost Force just in time. Still trying to heal up. Now the Eclipse is there. In your dream, he'll try to fight by himself. He's kind of surrounded though. Here comes the Alacrity to try and help out. They've already found two. Buyback there from Mizu. He wants to rejoin the team fight. Alacrity now going for the X-Pack onto Hung. In fact, never mind. They'll go after Red instead. They want that tied down. Glimmer Cape not going to save the day. That BB trying to run. Can he though? Probably not. In fact, they'll just get in with
There
Mizu.
shall be Schenkers by the acre.
Way down with our buyback. That is going to be at least 2 lanes of racks.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Backdoor protection, it'll kick in for a few seconds, but the creeps are on the way.
Dire's middle barracks are under
Just
attack.
pressure the tier 4.
Dire's middle barracks
Take too
has
long.
fallen.
496, even with a tied buyback available, there's no Ravage. It's not going to be enough
Dire's
to
middle
stop.
tower is under
Find
attack.
some way of hunger.
I don't know how you do it, John. Although the Ancient is going to go down a bit too fast, I think. Red, he's going to try and make his way over Hung. He'll remedy his way through. In your dream, he can still take the Ancient while hitting heroes. The Blazers is that strong. Red, Reaper Cyber, they found Hung. Now Red, he does a sitting duck. He's trying, but he cannot get out. The GG will be caught. 496. Get 2-0 here by GXR. I mean, I've got to tell you, John, they're looking very strong right now. I know we're only into our first series of the close qualifiers, but they made